David, I'm going to go back to you and talk a little bit more about the DFR solutions, whether it's 1.0, 2.0, and how Echodyne has a play in those.
For sure. Yeah, it's a really exciting application, real world, how drones are being used by law enforcement, right, to create much safer environments for the officers, but also just for everyday folks. I mean, and I'll get to the radar piece, but one of my favorite stories is like a guy who was trying to take pictures of a train, but it looked like he might have had a weapon, ended up being a camera because he was just an enthusiast. And, one of the law enforcement agencies we work with was able to zip a drone out from that 911 call about a weapon and see very quickly with the drone it was just a camera. Then they were able to, operate much differently when they approached that person and talk to them, right? And it just created a much safer environment for that person because they were there just to, be an enthusiast, just to have fun.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
in order to support missions like that, radar creates, I think you said it earlier, that airspace awareness, that complete picture of what is in the airspace so that that 911 drone that I just mentioned that's zipping out there to see what's going on is able to avoid running into the occasional like EMS, helicopter that's launching off of a hospital rooftop, for example. And, I've got a buddy who's actually a pilot, helicopter pilot, and he flies between OBX down in the Outer Banks, up to like Norfolk General Hospital back and forth. And he sees this issue all the times with drones, being in the airspace. He's got to visually see them and try to avoid them, and it gets pretty sketchy. And so the radar systems they'll put them in place and then be able to see, the manned aircraft, and then also to a certain range, they'll see the drone as well. And then they can deconflict those two and say, stand down, move out of the way, hold on for a second, let this one pass, keep going. So it really supports that mission. I mean, shout out to Charles Warner and drone responders and all those folks that have pushed super hard to get those waivers, those certificate of waiver programs and all that, so that law enforcement agencies can be able to fly higher and further out beyond visual line of sight. Even though they can fly up to, that 200-foot level now, there's still obstructions out there when you're flying miles out that really hard to avoid, that are still 200 feet tall if it's like a building or a large crane or a tree line or whatever the case. And so the radars again help to be able to allow the drone to fly higher, be able to fly even higher than 200 feet up to like 400 and completely avoid all those obstructions so that those missions can continue. They can just zip these drones out whenever they need, whenever there's a 911 call. So